We're here in Perth at the Indian Ocean Conference. With me is External Affairs Minister Dr S Jaishankar. So, welcome to WION. This conference is something that has grown in each passing year, starting from Singapore. This year, we have seen so many foreign ministers coming. The role played by this conference in bringing together the countries of the region.
I've been attending this conference, I think barring one, since it started. This is the seventh conference. Where this is useful is that, in Indian Ocean, there are different platforms, mechanisms. There isn't a single occasion where everybody gathers. So what it does is, partly it has a broader reach. It also supplements because there are official gatherings, but this brings together, ministers, diplomats, think tankers, business people. Yeah. So often these kinds of international cooperation efforts are strengthened when you have these track two activities side by side, and I think that's really been the value that it has brought, and that value has grown with those seven conferences.
So, India as the net security provider in the Indian Ocean region, if you can talk about that. I'm asking this given that there are challenges emerging in the region, including the crisis in the Red Sea.
Well, what has happened, two things have happened. One, internationally, many others who in the past bore that responsibility today may not have the same willingness or the capability. Some who have greater capability may not have the willingness. So there is a kind of in the global commons, there's a deficit. Okay. So if you have in international waters, let us say piracy, we are seeing that. We've seen that in Gulf of Aden. We are having, attacks on maritime shipping. Now, whose responsibility is it? Because it's not within, most of it is not within national. So here countries need to step forward. I think the expectation is that India would make a greater contribution. Frankly, from our own perspective, our interests today are so much greater. So much of our trade, for example, goes through the Red Sea. We have such a strong shipping presence in that whole western Indian Ocean area. So I would say it's self-interest, but it's also, in a sense, global good that we are doing, and it's something which the world values.
And so, how is India helping in building capacity in the region?
It varies, there are countries where we have actually done a lot of training, capacity building. We have given equipment. If you look even in our own region, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Mauritius, Seychelles, Mozambique, these are all countries where in the maritime sphere we've actually given equipment, we have built capacities. If you go east of India, Vietnam to some degree. So this is something which is, I would say, part of how to build a larger Indian Ocean community, and it's a very important aspect of the Sagar outlook that we have.
So moving on to the bilateral aspect, India-Australia relationship, you pointed out at the speech, at the dinner, that it's one of the most consequential relationship. What's your vision about this relationship, the new heights being touched in this relationship?
Well, if you look at it by any metrics, we've had more visits, we have more trade, number of students are growing, community is growing, the exchanges between us and civil society are growing, business exchanges are growing, tourism is growing. So there's a lot, if you measure it in numbers, the relationship is really growing. But to me, the real change is in the comfort, the greater trust and confidence that we have in each other. The fact that we meet and discuss so many things, that we work together. In my remarks, I pointed out we have a strong bilateral relationship, we have trilateral with Indonesia, France, we have very important Quad relationship. We work with the Australians in bodies like the IURA or East Asia States EAS processes. We really think this is a relationship with great promise, a great potential. And, you know, if you look at the last 10 years, this is one, if I were to pick one or two relationships which have really changed in the last 10 years. Because before Prime Minister Modi came, very frankly, it was a very neglected relationship.
And how both countries are working together in the Indian Ocean region. We are here in Perth, which is known as the Indian Ocean capital of Australia.
Well, in different ways. I mean, you know, we do the Malabar exercise. There are other exercises. They have exercises in which we participate as well. I think there's one called Talisman Sabre. We are working now on HADR, humanitarian assistance, disaster response efforts, including through the Quad. Bilaterally, we have hosted deployments. So whether it is policy, whether it's exercises, whether it is together we are contributing to a larger effort. It's all coming together.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for speaking to WION here in Perth. Thank you so much, sir.